Wat je nou? Nee. Maar had jij het hier wel gehoord? Nee. Zelfs in muziek voor zelf. Ja, dat is goed. Altijd moet zelf.
Okay, well, here we go once again. Welcome back to the afternoon session of dressage here in Boekelo, Military Boekelo, celebrating its 50th anniversary. Last ran here back in 2019, where the German team won the team competition and the Swedish team won the overall team standings. Lots to play for here today. Tim Lips with the fairly new ride, very new ride in fact, in Lady Chin van Moorvenz, lead on 24.5 for the Netherlands. Tamara Smith for the USA, Danito second on 24.7 with Great Britain's newly crowned individual European champion Nicola Wilson with Coulsparks. Sarko on 25.6 lies in third. Well, getting us back underway, a lady that is no stranger to team competition, Lara Dalida Kakamaya. She rides Cascaria the 5th, representing Belgium, the third team member for Belgium. And she brings forwards this lovely horse that she's done a little bit with now. Cascaria the 5th, former bride of her husband, Kai Stefanois, now 12 years old by Casero the 3rd, the Damsire Sandro, bred by Robert Vieter and owned by Johan Bankenshaber. Very well known for her Arville horses, of course, living and training from Arville, where they had the International Horse Chance just a few weeks ago. Alpaca d'Arville, Ducati d'Arville, amongst a number of the horses that she's ridden. And they're riding in front of our 3 ground jury members here today for the CCIO 4-star NC, the Nations Cup Long. Andrew Benny from New Zealand, Christina Klingsborg from Sweden, and Meryl Scherink from the Netherlands. Technical delegate here, Philip Searle. And a very nice start to this test. Hope you're enjoying the coverage here in Boekelo. 11 combinations left to go. William Fox Pitt up next for Great Britain, third team member. Well, I hope you're enjoying it, as I said. And any questions, do send them in. I know that we had a number of people sending questions in over the last few events. Richard Skelt, I know, watching, and he's laid up with a broken pelvis, flat on his back. So I hope you're enjoying the coverage here in Boekelo. 50th anniversary, can't quite believe it. Certainly changed over the years. New arena, this used to be a grass arena, now all weather for a few years now. Lovely walk. So in the walk, on this half circle, I think it's quite difficult to ride an extended walk on a half circle, maintaining the rhythm, maintaining the balance, the stretch, the lengthening of the step and the outline, making sure that the horses got that good over track in the step as well, because they tend to lead more with one side than the other on a half circle. So she did a really good job there, Lara. Just a little bit open in the frame in the canter, looking for the fluency of that transition, and the extended canter back to the collected canter. And the transition's big in that movement as well. Now the half pass onto the centre line. Then they ride one invisible marker down the centre line straight, and they must be straight. Andrew Benny, the president, will see that. Must be dead straight. Head and neck between the shoulder blades. I always remember I rode for Carl Hesse for 4 or 5 years, and he always said head and neck between the shoulder blades. And again, just getting a little bit keen, this horse, into the flying change. Another mare, 12 years old this time. Half pass repeated. Straight, head and neck between the shoulder blades. And then half circle And then on the diagonal line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Should be 7 or 8 strides, and just very late. So if you're coming off the side of the arena to the centre line, should be 4 or 5 strides. On the diagonal line, 7 or 8. And a good halt and salute from Lara Delida-Kakamaya and Cascaria the 5th to complete their test. One more rider for Belgium still to come. And this is all of the team riders here today. All the individual riders will go tomorrow. They start at 10:30, 9:30 UK time. And we'll have a little rundown of those riders just a little bit later on as we move forwards and through into the afternoon's session. Well, the score coming in for Lara Delida-Kakamaya and Cascaria the 5th, and it's just about holding on to the sub-30, 29.9, and goes into provisional 8th place. That may change slightly, should stay thereabouts. Well, if you're joining us, you want to get involved on social media, then do, and use the hashtag #RideTheMoment. Here comes William Fox Pitt into the arena. And the score being confirmed for Lara Delida-Kakamaya of 29.9. And that will put her into 8th place. So William coming forwards into the dressage, and he rides today in the team, and he said it's about 8 years since he's been here to Boekelo. So Grafenacht, he rides here today. William, well, not much he hasn't won. He's been a member of the British team for so many years. He rode at his first Olympic Games back in 1996 in Atlanta in the USA. Many European teams. His first of those was with the great Steadfast, the Junior European Championships back in 1987. And William since then has had so many brilliant 4- and 5-star wins, including holding the title of the only stallion to win badminton. And that was the brilliant Chilly Morning, the late Chilly Morning, who sired so many fabulous offspring. The 2015 badminton winner, the horse that took him to his Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro. Grafenacht, certainly a horse that he thinks a lot of. This mare, 9 years old, by Grafenstolz, owned by Amanda Gould. Such a good ambassador for the sport, and he's been on top of his game for so many years now. The Burleys he's won, the badmintons he's won, it's just quite remarkable. Very nice so far. Of course, he was the 3-time winner of Kentucky 5-star Cool Mountain, Teresa Stopford Sackville's Cool Mountain back in 2010. Park Lane Hawk and Bay My Hero. Badminton twice, Tamarillo, the little Arab type pony as he was the clone back in 2004. And then again, 2015. Took him another 11 years to win his second badminton. Le Moulin, he won in 2008. Burghley, a happy home for William. 6 Burghleys to his name. Charker, Highland Lad, Ballincoola, Parkmore Ed, Tamarillo, Park Lane Hawk. It's nearly a Lucinda Green, 6 different badmintons on 6 different horses. Well, William has won 6 Burghleys on 6 different horses as well. Quite remarkable. And then he's also won Poe in 2011 with Oslo, who currently sits in my field at home, and Sea Cookie in 2013. He's around the mid-20s, Raffenacht. This is where it gets quite expensive. The transitions within the canter work. Got a lovely loose way of going. On the 7th stride, and on that line, staying bolt on that line as well. 24.5 leads, Tim Lips. Hits the X and then straight, good, and then off the half circle onto this diagonal line from S. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Gone on the 6. Quite forward and open. Lovely. It couldn't be closer. It really couldn't be closer at the top of this leaderboard as William Foxpitt comes in to land. 24.5 is the leader. And William currently sitting on about 25, 25.6, 25.7. Nicola Wilson on 25.6 also. That will certainly do the Brits no harm whatsoever. His score just getting finalised. A brilliant start for the 3 British riders, Nicola Wilson, William Foxpitt, and it confirmed. William goes on to 24.9, just 0.4. That's 1 second on the cross country on Saturday that separate the top 3 horses now. And his score 188.5 from Andrew Benny, 175.5 from Meryl Schuring, and 177.0 from Christina Klingsborg. Takes him on to 24.9. So that's interesting, because if they'd have been right up there in the 80s as well, then William would certainly have been leading. But it's 24.9 into 3rd, above Nicola Wilson now in 4th on 25.6. 0.4 separating the top 3. We knew it was going to be tight. We knew it was going to be very, very close at the top. Didn't realise quite how tight it was going to be. If we go back to the like of Avanche, the European Championships, to the events that preceded that as well, with Aachen and Aville and a lot of the other international horse trials, very tight after the dressage. And it certainly did come down. Ingrid Klimke at the European Championships just picking up a couple of time faults, 2 seconds over, 0.8 separated her. The pull down on Sunday didn't help either, but it just goes to show how close it is at these international horse trials. The dressage getting better and better every year, and it's certainly proving that way here today. 24.5 leads, 24.7 second, 24.9 in 3rd. The bell goes from Andrew Benny. the president of the ground jury. And he welcomes in now Sydney Defresne, representing France. Can't quite see him. Where is he? Top right, bottom left? Top right. Well, Sydney Defresne rides down the centre line. He comes in now with Trésor Male, representing France. Trésor Male, 14 years old, by Jaguar Male, the dam sire Iowa, bred by Bernard-Pierre Lecoty and owned by Agnes Trouble and Iris de Fleurieux. Sydney with this team bronze medalist from the World Equestrian Games in Tryon 2018. Still very much making a name for himself. He stepped up from the junior young riders. He's now stepped into the senior ranks. Rode this horse at the European Championships in 2017 in Stregon. Been difficult, I would say, 3 years for them. They've had to put out of a lot of top-class competitions. But on his day, this horse can certainly do a very good test. Very nice angle in the half pass. And it's a quick spin away from one direction to the other. Scoring quite highly still. Trésor Male, 27.3. He sits nearly quarters leading. In fact, quarters definitely leading onto the centre line, even from this angle. Oh, he's really struggling to get some sort of uniformity back with this horse. That will drop their mark down. The stallion, and the only stallion we've seen so far in this field. See if he can maintain. Trouble is, when you're stallying, you know, the old adage goes, ask a mare, suggest a stallion, tell a gelding. They do have very good brains to work with. You've just got to be very careful. 4, 5, 6, on the 7th stride. So just looking the half pass. Interesting onto the centre line. Even though the half pass right did what it did, still 7.5, which slightly surprised me. But there you go. I thought it was quite obvious, maybe to us, not to them. So Trésor Male, Sydney Defren, a very good score for him. And he will go, I think he'll go ahead of Sydney Elliott. Sydney riding QC Diamantin, who sits on 26.7. Sydney Defren could go into 5th on 26.2, which would do the French team the world of good. Camille Lejeune, Dame de Coeur Tradon. She sits in, well, the man, not Camille. Camille, he sits in 11th place on 30.1. Well, the score coming in then, and it is now confirmed for Trésor Male and Sydney Defren for France. 26.2 goes into 5th place, just behind Nicola Wilson and Cool Park Sarko on 25.6. He goes ahead of the American young lady in Sydney Elliott and QC Diamantin. Next to go, this is a ride for Sophie Löber. Sophie representing Germany. She rides the lovely J'adore Moi. Sophie herself with J'adore Moi took this horse to both the Young Horse Championships as 6 and 7-year-olds. J'adore Moi has taken her to some of the biggest competitions in her entire life, including some great 4-stars, including some wonderful long format, short format. She rode J'adore Moi into 8th place in the 4-star shorter Aachen just a few weeks ago on a very good dressage score. In fact, very nearly led the dressage with J'adore Moi on 24.5. And she is certainly a lady that is very, very capable in the dressage boards. I'm just trying to remember. I think she did lead the dressage with J'adore Moi, 24.5 in Aachen. That was eventually won by William Coleman, creating history there with Off the Record, the Irish sport horse, completing on 30.5. But these two, very, very capable. She's just a little bit slow on the cross country, otherwise she would have been the clear winner of Aachen at the World Festival. J'adore Moi always does a very good test. Sophie, a very accomplished rider in the dressage. Eleven-year-old mare by Contagos, owned by BG J'adore Moi and Sophie, bred by Frère von Schon, Hans Frère von Schon. So coming into the extended walk movement now from the 2 pirouettes. It's something I don't know whether we like it as riders. I don't know whether we like training it. I don't know whether the judges like necessarily judging it. It's very much a personal preference. But I don't see what it's got to do really with. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I really can't see what it's got to do with training an event horse. We teach them the gears in the dressage. We teach them flying changes. The pirouette, not quite so sure. I mean, we know that they're off the leg from the shoulder ins, the half passes, and everything else that goes with it. I just don't know what we're trying to achieve with the pirouette, but, one of those things. So we'll try and spot the flying change. You've got as good a picture as me. From here, I think it looked fine. Blink and you miss it. Well, I'm afraid, I think it's very unfair to comment on a dressage test I can't see. Now we're back. Now she's finished to her test, Sophie Lub and J'adore moi. Well, the score for Sophie Lub and J'adore moi, well, it looks like a new leader by 0.1. And the scores for Sophie 1, well, you couldn't get closer. 181.5, 181.5, and 181.5. All 3 judges absolutely on the button. Although had them in different places, they all scored her the same. 24.4 goes into first place. And interestingly, the score that she had when she was in Aachen was a score 24.5, and she's now on a 24.4, leading the way, as she did in Aachen those weeks ago. Well, now we go from Germany to Italy, Tosca Brambilla, representing Italy in the team, and Tosca coming forwards with this grey. He rode, or was entered for the Young Rider European Championships back in 2009, but the horse that he rides today is Legoland Mood Swing. Not had the best of preparations. They've been coming up through. They've been really making a slow name for themselves. So Tosca Brambilla, this Irish sport horse, comes down the centre line to wow our three judges by Camiro de RZ, by Cruising, owned by the Brambilla family, Francis Barter, and Tosca, Rosella Maggie. So far, ridden a double bridle, and quite a long rein too. Sometimes just the way that the horses are built is the way that they're built, and some horses are better in a double bridle. They like a little bit more in their mouths. Some horses don't like anything in their mouths. Watching for the preparation from the collected walk into the pirouette, and I would have liked to have seen more, which is why we got the moment of pause in the pirouette. If you shorten the walk, then you can ride the pirouette. You've got to keep forward, agreed, but you've got to keep that forward momentum into that movement. And the pirouettes, unfortunately, the first pirouette scores 6.5 and 5. Just because of that exact reason, I think. She's dropped the curb rein on the other side, so she'll have a bit of work to do picking up the rein now. 12 years old is Gray, gelding. But by doing that, you see, you then run the risk of the jogging, and this is where you can be quite clever in manufacturing the walk slightly with a slightly longer rein and then picking the rein up in the canter work. Can I hear the teeth grinding? I'm not sure. Some tension in the walk, some tension in the medium walk with the jogging. Quarters just coming in slightly, so not really on a parallel track there. Who would have seen that? It'll be interesting to see. Just that head shaking in the canter half pass, then straighter. You've got to show the difference from the half pass to the centre line and then onto the half circle. With the flying change, there's a little bit of a lapse. But then when she got the canter back up again, the change was fine, losing the quarters again. This is all to do with connectivity and the connection from the front end to the back end. And what you've got to think when you're riding the horses is that the nose is connected to the tail, that you're riding this bull. So when you're starting off with the training, it's slightly reminiscent of a beach ball with not much air in it, and then by the time you get to this stage, a little bit late behind with that flying change, when you get to this stage in the horse's career, you want to feel like you're dropping a ball and it's coming up to meet your hand, that you're not having to catch it, that it's got all the bounce in it. And it's more, a little bit, I suppose, reminiscent of a men's finals or ladies' finals day at Wimbledon, new ball please. That it is, you know, you drop the ball, it bounces and you catch it, that you're creating all that bounce. So not the test that necessarily she would have liked here today. A little bit tense, lost the quarters quite a lot. And that final centre line too, down to their holds at X. In fact, not down to their final, what am I talking about? The L, their final halt, that invisible marker on the centre line. Just dropping the scores down from the 7s to the 4s even, you know, just because of the way that he was swinging his bottom all the time. Tosca Brambilla for Italy. We'll see what score they get. We've just got the last couple of scores coming in for the final mark. So 22 movements in the test, 23 including the movement for harmony and of both horse and rider. And Tosca Brambilla Legalamud swing goes on to a score of 40.2, provisionally into 26th place. As we just welcome into the arena the bay trotting around the arena. This is Jordy Vilkan. Jordy riding Caracau today. Caracau, a horse that was formerly ridden by Alice Neighbour-Lozman. Jordy picked up the reins back in, must have been the end of last year, beginning of this year. And they've been out competing. This is their third, fourth 4-star. He rode at a Radapin in the 4-star short. Being a very, very good cross-country horse. Never in this horse's cross-country history of competing since 2013 from 1-star to 4-star has ever had a cross-country jumping fault. And that is a rare thing to behold. Jordy himself, he's a very good jockey, very good pilot. Led the dressage on many an occasion. Of course, well known for the lovely Bury Spirit. And it was gutting at the European Championships. We lost quite a few on the final day, not in a careless way, but through not passing the final horse inspection. And Bury Spirit was one of those, withdrawn from the final holding box. Caracau can do a good test, but also does find it quite difficult. Tries in the extension. Caracau, bred by Terry White, owned by Jordy himself, by Ramiro B, 14 years old. Porsche lines. You see the difference? Oh, come on! The difference, and then the jog. And now he's like, well, you told me to go. The difference preparing, he slightly threw it away after the first one. I don't know what happened there. The stop button went on for some reason. So that will get marked down. It's a real pity because the potential was there for the first pirouette, and then the stop, the handbrake going on, ruined it. Doing it again. Coming around then for this half circle into flying change. Forward off the board, maybe 5. It's not going to be many because he's got such a long stride. And that flying change. It just could have been, it could have more finesse. There's nothing wrong with the flying change itself. It's just very forward, open. And what you'd like for the higher mark is for there to be more of a preparation, more of the transition being made. And the first one wasn't as good. The second one was better, although it was more forward, it was correct. And he rode for it, so it was very good. And that will definitely keep his score alive in this team situation. We're coming down to the final line riders, so we will be able to bring you some team scores now as the situation starts to change and starts to get very interesting. Just have a look and see what is going on so far in the teams. The USA lead, 83. Germany second, 85. But now Jordy Vilkan for the Netherlands. Jordy completes. He's in 18th on 33.4. So Merrill Blom, cross-border radar love, NOP, 34.6. It's a drop score because Tim Lips, Lady Chinvant, Morder and Zed lying second on 24.5, and Sandy de Jong and Joy 33.1, 17th, Jordy Vilkan 18th, they're on 91.0. Fourth place for the Dutch team, the defending champion Sweden. They've only had 2 riders that have gone so far, and Sandra Gustafsson will be the third last to go in the team. That's when it will all start to change. Well, now we welcome Susie Berry. Susie riding Ringwood LB, riding for Helen Caton, Gwen Pearce and Susie herself by Master Imp, the dam sire Master Imp. Irocco, sired by this 12-year-old Irish sport horse. Susie, second at Little Downham in the 4-star. The combination went really well at Houghton Hall, Burnham Market, as well as Bergam. Had some really good runs in the last 3 or 4 years at Bramham. They didn't have the ride they wanted there, came back fighting, and that very good performance just a few weeks ago at Little Downham. She finished just behind Bubby Upton and Cannavaro. Very, very close. Just less than 1 mark separated the top 2 in the 4-star short in that very competitive class. A very, very exciting girl. Susie herself, who finished third on the podium in the 4-star long with John the Bull, part of the Windrush Foundation that Pippa Funnel runs with for up-and-coming riders. Ringwood LB. Susie Berry coming into that now half circle. Good flying change. The frame was a little bit high, but the change itself was very good. Keeping a nice openness to this canter. I think she would have got an 8.5 for that flying change if he hadn't have jumped out of the bridle. An invaluable help she's getting on the Windrush squad, though, from Pippa, and all the help that goes with it. Wait. And then that didn't happen. Just bounced behind with the two hind legs, so that'll be in the 6s, maybe even the 5s. Coming down to her final halt. It's expensive when things don't go quite according to plan. Yeah, 5, 6, 6 for that flying change. Ringwood LB. It's sad because you know the horse can do a flying change, and it's basically the only 6 that he's got. He didn't do the best of half passes when he half passed to the right. The pirouettes were good. One way better than the other. It's interesting that one of the judges gave a 7.5 and one of the judges gave a 5 and the other judge gave a 5. What they see from different angles, it can be quite punishing to the riders sometimes. But very good performance there on the whole from Susie Berry. It's funny seeing her name down as Susanna Berry. We know who is Susie. But Susie with Helen, Caton, Harone and Gwen Percy's Ringwood LB, the 12-year-old. Well, they will score, and their score just come in fact. And it is into 13th place, 30.7. Well, coming down to the end of day one. Jenny Bannigan, Jenny riding FE Lifestyle, FE of course Fredericks Equestrian, the prefix Clayton Fredericks, who sells a lot of top quality horses. 11 years old by Leo von Falle, the dam sire Brandenburger, owned by Nina and Tim Gardner. Jenny so experienced. And she one of the 7 that made the trip across from the USA. Jenny herself came up through the young riders. She was very, very successful. Rode Lifestyle in his first 5-star back in Kentucky in April. A rider that I've seen on the circuit for so many years now. She rode Stella Artois at Lexington as well, and then on to Le Moulin for the 5-star. Didn't quite get a plan either of those. She had a horse fall with Stella Artois, then fell off Stella Artois and Le Moulin, but she is much better than what the paper says, I can assure you. It makes much bigger a noise than actually it deserves, because I think there must be a speaker quite close. Jenny's doing a good job. Jenny's doing a very good job too. Good with the half pass. I think just could have prepared the first flying change. It just didn't quite come off for her. I'm hoping this one does. Keeping, just done it same again. Just got slightly ahead of her. Thought too much, and when the horses start thinking, then you run into quite a lot of trouble. It'll be 6s and maybe even a 5.5 for that change. Maybe not that tight. Maybe not that miserable. But ooh, see, keeping you on your toes. FEI Lifestyle and Jenny Bannigan for the United States of America, 6-7-4. Judge at M, Meryl Sherring for the Netherlands, 7. I have no idea what she saw there. I'm not going to lie, because I would have been. There was a 6 and a 4. I'd have been the 6 or the 5. I don't think I'd have gone to the 4. That was Andrew Benny, but he would have seen that right in front of him. So there you go. It's now been changed. So 4, 5, 6. I think that's much better. It has been changed. I don't know why that would have gone up as a 7. I think that was probably a digited piece of information into there. Well, just now 3 left to go on the first day. And the first day of dressage is currently led in spectacular style by Sophie Le J'adore Moi. She led in Aachen. She's leading here, 24.4. Tim Lips, Lady Chinfant Moravan Z in second, 24.5 for the Netherlands. Third, Tamara Smith, Danito, 24.7 in third. What has that done to the team scores, though? Because if we look at the team scores, United States of America will drop the score of Matthew Flynn and Wizards. They stay on 83.5. Germany on 85.3. Germany have all their riders gone. Sweden, Belgium, Great Britain still have one left to go. Great Britain on 24.9, 25.6, and James Rushbrook, they will hope, is the drop score. Milton McClips on 40.9, lying in 30th place, with Izzy Taylor and Hartaka last to go of the 33 riders here today. But we now welcome into the arena Sandra Gustafsson for Sweden, with Kudenat about to come down the centre line. The third last to go here, representing Sweden, the current title holders, Sandra Gustafsson lovely horse. Lovely chestnut horse, Kudenat. Had some very good placings, stepped up to 4-star in 2019. She's made steady progress through the grades as they've gone on. He's a beautiful moving horse. Sometimes with the horses that move beautifully, that you can see the mistakes more obviously. 14 years old by Laptop, the Dam Sire Robin Z, bred by Bridget Johnson, Linda and owned by Bridget Johnson, Lindom, and Sandra Gustafsson herself. The trouble is, like I've just said, you know, once the horses make a mistake, and she did not have a very good entry halt, but when they make a mistake, it's very obvious if they're quite big moving like this, and he's just bobbing on and off the bridle. I don't know whether that's a great expression to use, bobbing on and off, but I think you can understand that in layman terms, that, you know, he's not true to the bridle. He's giving a slightly false impression as we come to the first of the pirouettes. And she needs to shorten before she asks, otherwise we get a slightly loose one. But actually he performed that fairly nicely, the pirouette. Again, shorten slightly, and then ask him to move round her inside leg. Keep moving. And I would say that for that one, I wouldn't go much higher than a 6.5, purely because of what the front end did. It didn't match the back end, and you need it too. And now to the extended walk. You can see she's made the transition from the collected to the extended. The judges being much meaner than I, but I think I would have gone the 6.5 on the first one. And because of what happened with the front end not matching the back end, she's got a 4, a 6, and a 6.5. And the extended walk, very short, not really got much ground cover. Being very careful and very tactful in her riding to the canter. And you'd want the canter, I sound like I haven't stopped moaning, but you want the canter from the walk to be up and forward, and that was up and back, and it took 2 strides to get the canter going forwards from the walk. And again, that scored 6s because of that. The transition was fine, but he just needed to take the canter stride forward, and he didn't, as in the horse. Nice straight line. Actually here, because he's got the white face, there's no deviation. You can't veer off that straight line. And the change was fine. think for the preparation and the whereabouts of the change, I'd have gone on the 6.5. Not quite the 7, just because it didn't really have the expression that you're looking for, but the change was safe. I don't know whether he looks like he's going to explode or whether he has done in the past. Coming back for the flying change again. Sit back. And he came through from behind that time. With the two white hind legs, there's really no getting away from exactly what's going on. I would have said that was quite a good change. I would have given that a 7. In fact, I know I would have given it a 7. Good. You know, the trot work let him down, the pirouettes let him down, the walk in particular was tough for her today. But she did what she could. And it's never easy, you know. Look, we're not sat up there. We don't know what's going on underneath their bottoms. We don't know how tight they're feeling or exactly what you've got. We can only see from here. Sometimes it's more obvious than others. But Sandra Gustafsson, Kudenat, they are the defending champions. They've got a pretty new team here with a number of the riders. So I don't think that's going to help their chances. They're only a 3-man team here. And they are the defending champions. Lena Forsberg, Christopher Forsberg, Kaizen and Con Classic 2 on 29 and 32. This is going to be a counting score, so it's going to be very influential. I'm surprised, but I'm not, that we don't have a full team of Swedes. But because of the championships, there's 2 championships with Aachen, with the Europeans, with the Olympics. Everybody they've used up their resources. It's a tough old year. It really is. Which is why we've not seen the biggest number of competitors here. We've got 33 today. We've got 28 tomorrow. We start at 9:30 UK time, 10:30 CEST. Second last to go, and this is the final team rider for Belgium. This is Martin Boone, Graven van Cantos. And Graven van Cantos is a horse that he's ridden the whole way through his career, starting off with young horse championship classes right the way up to Blenheim as an 8 and 9-year-old back in 2019. Rode this horse around Aville, picked up 11.2 time faults on the cross country. Remember him jumping around there, and it was actually a lovely performance. And also had, I think, one fence down as well, but finished just outside the top 20. Had a really good travel round. This is a 10-year-old, unknown breeding, owned by Martin Boone himself. Coming down the centre line. Last to go for Belgium, and Belgium's their team score with 2 riders, Lara Delide-Kakama and Sepe Valent, already gone. 29.9 for Lara and 37 for Sepe. All 3 scores to count for Belgium, all 3 scores to count for Italy and Sweden. Remaining 6 teams have 4 members in the team, so they have a drop score. 1 left to go on the first day. That is Izzy Taylor. She's last to go in the dressage and the last member of Team GB. So a good positive start to Martin's test. He's gone in there with real guts, not holding back, and a very nice moving horse. This mare, she does cover good ground and got a nice amount of bounce in her movement. She's got great cadence. Looks very rideable. And for the dressage, you're wanting them to be just that. So that when you come to the cross country, they're very much in tune with you. That nothing is a problem. You've got me again tomorrow, I'm afraid, and then we've got a special guest on Saturday for the cross country. So make sure you're tuning in for the cross country. It starts nice and early, 8 o'clock UK time, 9 o'clock CEST, and we'll be bringing you all of that action. I'm hoping that we're going to have a special guest. I'm still trying to work out, because I'm working from home, I've got 3 screens in front of me, and I'm trying to work out the best way of working dual comms, and I'm not very techie. So the pirouettes were very good. The walk's been good. Tell you what, he's not doing himself any harm at all, Martin, in here. Come on, keep this up. Oh, little bit behind. You saw that very clearly from the mare in the flying change from right to left. So we've got one more chance with this half pass. Don't fling her into the movement, ride her into it. A jolly nice rider. Just sometimes I wish that he would just prepare the mare a little bit more so he didn't shock her. I think that's what happened with the flying change. Count it down, wait, and then. Yeah, again, didn't really count it down enough. So 5-4, 4.5 for the first flying change. It's going to be pretty much the same for the second as well, unfortunately, which will really let the score down. You're not going to get much more for it. And into that final halt salute. Yeah, 5-5 for the flying change. Frustrating. Because you know what? It was all there. The half pass, one judge 8, one judge 4, one judge 7. A little bit harsh. But I think he could have just prepared the horse a little bit more into that. Now changed to a 7, but and then back to a 6.5. But I do think the change 5, 4.5, 4.5, yep, totally agree. And the change 5, 5, 5. And I do agree with that. And it's just a shame that slightly towards the end of the test that those marks were thrown away. And I personally think she's 10. Yes, she's got another few years in her, but this could have been her time to shine. It really could. And also, not only for her, but also for the Belgian team. It'll keep him inside the top 10, I hope. It was deserved of a place in the top 10. Belgium now move on to, he's gone into 9th place, 27.7, with Raven van Cantos, Martin Boone, and means that Belgium go into 7th place. Great Britain have one left to go. There she is, Izzy Taylor. Izzy bringing forward Hartacker. And Izzy, of course, she finished 10th individually at the European Championships with Monkeying Around. She is one of Britain's high riders. She's had some amazing results of late. And with the horse that she finished 10th on at the European Championships, she came off the back of a very good win at Belgium in the 4-star. And off the back of that, Burnham Market in the 4-star long as well. I mean, monkeying around has been going brilliantly well, but this is a horse that she thinks an awful lot of. Hartacker, she rides here today. Izzy Taylor for Great Britain in the team, which is great, and I absolutely couldn't have thought of anyone better to go in the team. This is a 9-year-old gelding by Spartacus and the Damsire Heartbreaker. Little mistake there. This is owned by Camilla Behrens. Camilla, great supporters, great owners. I'm going to use the word, I don't want to, but I just thought there he looked a bit short in his ground cover. I think he could have had more ground cover in that extended trot. 5th in the 8 and 9-year-olds at Blenheim just a few weeks ago. As I said, at Thorsburton, as it was in 2020, she won the 3-star long in fine style with this horse. You see there, he had a little bit more. I'm talking marginal, a little bit more ground cover. And then into this walk. It's a fascinating one. I mean, I don't, necessarily like a lot of this walk pirouette malarkey. It has to be done. I get that. I understand that. Hartacker again. And, I just think the pirouettes are a bit punishing unnecessarily. These horses work brilliantly, walk, trot and canter, then they're asked to spin round, something you teach them not to do for years and years and years. Don't spin round, don't do this. And now you're teaching them to do it again, and it's just one step can be so damaging. One thing this horse can do is walk. I know he can. But is there tension there? Because there's definitely a little bit of tension in his trot work. He's stunning. He looks super. Big shout out to the grooms. I love doing a shout out to the grooms, the young unsung heroes of the sport. And I know Izzy's groom works. Well, they all do. I'm not going to say one doesn't work harder than the other, because all grooms deserve the medals, the gold medals, the silver medals, the bronzes, because they get nothing. They really do need the recognition. And FEI awards. If you haven't had a look at those, then just go onto the FEI websites, fei.org websites, and there are lots of awards going on for grooms, for unsung heroes, for riders, for organisers, and there's lots of awards going on. Vote for your favourites. Get onto fei.org and get voting. You can watch back any of the action here, of course, on the FEI social platforms. A super flying change. Brilliant. I would have given that an 8. She's got a 7. She's got an 8. Nice half pass. Good fluency. Yeah, 7.5, 7.5, 8 for her flying changes. The first one, nicely positioned. And beautiful. I'd have probably gone 8.5. Might have even gone 9 for that one. Let's see what the judges think. 7.5. 8. I would have gone more. Very nice. Good test there from Izzy Taylor. Camilla Behrens, Hardtacker by Heartbreaker, the Heartbreaker lines. So 8 for the flying change, 8 for the Holt salute. Just outside the 30, will she break into the 30 barrier? Ooh, we'll wait and see. But a very good test nonetheless from Izzy. Some interesting scores. The first centre line, of course, wasn't her best, and that sets the precedent for the rest of the test. But the individual standings, will bring you those just before we sign off for the first day here at 2:15. We're back at 9:30 UK time, 10:30 local time, with 28 horses in the individuals. And of those individuals, we start with Cord Maisgeis for Germany, Michael Ryan for Ireland, Nicholas Bashora, Simon Grieve for Great Britain in the first 10, 11 horses, Hallie Kuhn in there in the first few. Then Thierry Van Rijn, Josephine Schnau for Rokel, Alex Donohoe for Ireland, Tom Rowland, Katie Ruppel, Wilhelmina von der Goes-Peter. After Marks, Yoshi Iowa for Japan, and then the final few, it's Barbara Sayus, Kirsty Chabert, Brian Morrison again, Andres Dabowski, Toshi Tanaka, Tamara Smith, another ride for her individual, Marlin Hansen-Hoddop, and then Meryl Blum, last to go at 3:03.203 local time. The confirmed score for Izzy Taylor and Hardtacker, 30.6, goes into 14th place. It's at 1-4, 170, 162 and 167, gives her a score of 14 into 14th on 30.6. So the top 10 after day 1 of dressage. The leader representing Germany, it is Sophie Loeb with the stunning 11-year-old mare J'adore Moi on 24.4, just 0.1 in front of Tim Lips and the 11-year-old Lady Chinpont Morven Z on 24.5. 0.2 behind is Tamara Smith and Danito, the 12-year-old Hanoverian, on 24.7 for the United States of America. Great Britain then come 4-5 with William Fox Pitt and Grapanact on 24.9, and Nicola Wilson, Cool Park Sarko on 25.6. France, Sydney Defresne and Trésor Mail, the 14-year-old stallion, the first and only stallion that we've seen, 6th place for them on 26.2. Sydney Elliott for the United States of America, QC Diamantaire, sits there in 7th place on a score of 26.7. MGH Tokyo Phil, Porrig McCarthy in 8th on 27.3, with Martin Boone, Gravin van Cantos in 9th, 27.7, and Ingrid Klimke, Equistro Siena Just Do It for Germany in 10th on 29.2. Well, it is definitely not going to be a dressage competition because there's lots to play for and still a full day of dressage tomorrow. 4.8 separate the top 10. That's only a mere 12 seconds on the cross country, and I can tell you it's going to be a real test. It is going to be tough. It is not going to be very easy at all. Well, we go to the overnight leaderboard in the team situation, and Great Britain lead. Great Britain leads on a score of 81.1. United States of America in second on 83.5. Germany third on 85.3. France in fourth, 90.3. Netherlands in fifth. Ireland sixth. Belgium seventh. Sweden eighth. And Italy in ninth. But I can't tell you how quick that leaderboard can change either. Make sure you join us for more dressage action as Sophie Loeb for Germany leads overnight on 24.4. Day 1 of dressage is complete here in the main arena of the military Boekelo International Horse Trials, celebrating 50 years as the FEI celebrates 100 years. From myself, Spencer Sturmey, and the whole team, from Boekelo and from home in the Cotswolds, it's goodbye, good night, and we'll see you again tomorrow.